The 2015 Carnival City Macsteel Classic is proudly brought to you by Carnival City and Macsteel. One of the biggest summer classics on the national road racing calendar, the Carnival City Macsteel Classic drew a large field of amateurs and the cream of the crop amongst the top men and women's teams.
I think I should be at the front all the time, try to see what's happening, so I can't miss a move. And when it comes to a finish, then I think I'll be.
We are marshalling on the Macsteel race. It's a big race and we've done it over the years. We have 25 bikers. These guys come from different backgrounds. Some are business people, some are pastors, some are lecturers. We just come together so that we can provide safety to the cyclists. That's the important thing.
Never a true word spoken. The safety of the riders absolutely paramount in races of this nature. All the top teams are there. Europcar, Team Bonitas had a full complement, and Team Abantu were also well represented. Unlike many other races in the country, the elites raced 165k, so there was plenty of opportunity for everyone.
Well, so far there's no wind picking up, but there's still a lot of challenging points during the race. Anything can happen, a break can go away. It's my hometown, I grew up here, so if it comes down to a bunch sprint, definitely give it a shot. For a win, I've won this race before, so definitely.
It's difficult to say. With it being 165 k's today, it's normal. It's a bit longer than normal, so that puts like another dimension to the racing. And like I said, we've got a really fast guy, but also we've got some guys who can go and maybe ride away with a couple of k's to go. So that puts us in a good position. I think it's going to be an interesting race.
The route for the elites saw them head towards Germiston, then left towards Suikerbosrand. They did the 2 laps there before turning further east for another 2 laps linking Heidelberg and Nigel before heading back to the finish at Carnival City on the R23. It was predominantly flat, but a few steep climbs around Heidelberg would test them. And so they rolled away, the elite men and the under-23s, and a bunch of around 70 riders. With the extra distance, plenty of time for the teams to work each other over. Very back of the bunch, number 25 on his back, former rugby player turned cyclist Kiedia Kotze. With the group already up the road, Munir Sassan decided to jump across. He joined Tanda Zotia, the Rand Water team. He'd initiated the early attack, and now Team Europcar decided to have a dash off the front. The ever-competitive veteran men were next on the start line. They'd be racing over 126 kilometers. A very similar route to the elites, except they'd have to do only 1 lap of the Heidelberg-Nigel section before charging back to Carnival City. And rest assured, these men certainly know how to race hard. The veterans are split into different age categories, 30 to 39 and 40 to 49, and even older than that. There are a few former pros in amongst them, and always a highly entertaining and competitive race. First to show, the informer Egon Campbell of Kempston Truck Hire. He won the vets race at the recent Discam Ride for Sight, and his move provoked plenty of action behind. The women's race was next up. Again, plenty of high-class riders in the field, with Activate, Demicon and Bestmed ASG likely to be the 2 main protagonists.
We always come out supporting this race. I've done well here in the past. It's a finish perfectly suited for me. We've got a strong team here today. We've got 5 riders on the line with the new Activate Demicon team. We're going to go out the same as every week. We'll make it hot from the start, and we're going to try and see if we can get a breakaway. We don't want to really take a sprint to the line, but if it does come down to a sprint, we'll set either myself or the network up for a sprint.
I think my plan is just to see how the legs are going, keep up with the bunch.
Whilst the men did 165, the vets 125, the women raced over 103 kilometres. Again, the same route as the elites and the vets. However, they did 1 loop at the 2 sections the men had repeated. Getting out into the Ekurhuleni countryside. Some 50 women rolled off the line. In the Energas kit, Mia van Rooyen, fresh from completing the inaugural 7-day Transcape mountain bike race through the Western Cape. Plenty of animated riding early on. The fear of getting dropped from the bunch ensuring they all worked hard to stay in contact with the leaders. One of the race favourites, Anli Kachelhofer of Activate Demicon, determined to make the pace hard from the start. Conditions could not have been any better for the Carnival City Macsteel Classic. Clear skies and windless for now. Back with the elite men, and the peloton were relaxed, happy to let the two men have their moment in the spotlight up the road. Tando Zote from the Velokaya Rand Water team was still doing the work together with one of the ASG youngsters. The early morning sunshine from the east cast long bike shadows across the smooth tar road. What a lovely place to be. Now to the veterans, a sizable bunch altogether. Complete cyclists with the yellow bands across the black jersey, major contenders. But four men were already up the road. Neil Tim and Egon Campbell in the luminous yellow kit, and Gert Peschier and Johannes Juster working hard to maintain their advantage over the hard-chasing peloton. Lots of discussion about how they were going to approach this. It was a formidable bunch. And if they rode intelligently, they could stay away all race long. The elite women's bunch all together, they swung left and headed towards Heidelberg. Amongst those on the front, Elmarie de Wet, Tanya Barnes, Andrea de Boer, Zanele Choco and Alexa Tablanche. Everyone keeping their powder dry just for now. Now a first look at the Vets 40-plus race. Fairly relaxed they were, but not David Labuschagne in the colours of Bestmed. He was out on his own. Scott McKenzie and Willem Bezuidenhout, though, were even further ahead, looking very impressive as they pounded out a solid rhythm on the long, flat roads of the Kuruleni farmlands. Back for the 30-plus vets, and the pack was working hard to try and bring back the quartet of breakaways. But some nervous riding, down went a few men. Hard falls on the tarmac. 3 down, Morna Groenewald, William James in the Karen Beef kit, and the Sassel kit, Ronaldo Bosch. So, what happened?
The guy in front of me just slowed down and I touched his wheel.
Ouch. The ladies were still all together. But that was not for a lack of trying. Desiree Sebret strives hard to try and bridge across to the leading trio of Kachelhofer, de Wet and one other. But the main bunch were not going to let them get away, and over they all came. This was good positive racing from the women. Afforded the opportunity to ride in their own batch, they were providing some aggressive racing. While Mum and Dad were out racing on the big streets of Ekurhuleni, the young had their own race to enjoy.
We're having it just as a supplementary race to the main races. It's just a fun day for the children. We start from 2 years of age up to 8 in different categories, boys and girls. The entry money goes towards our causes and it just seems very popular.
Going for a race. I'm going to ride this morning and my age group is 8. Bike race.
A wonderful way to get the kids involved from a very early age. And identify with what Mum and Dad were doing. Most kept the rubber down, some found it tough to stay upright. The very little ones gave mums and dads almost as much exercise as the men and women in the long races. Lack of fun had by all, and a long afternoon snooze for young and old, no doubt. Race, race, race! totally focused. And that's exactly what Vian Duplessis was of the ASG team. He was out on his own, ahead of the main pack in the 165-kilometer distance that the elites were pounding out. The peloton not too concerned, plenty of time to pull that break back. But then the heat was on, a number of riders jumping out of the pack. James Faree of a Europcar prominent. Sean-Nick Bester of Team Bonitas always keen to keep the pace high. And he was soon joined by Faree. The net effect of this attack was to string the group out behind them as they hurtled around the left-hander and headed out for their second loop of the Suikerbos Rand lap. While the elites were busy with their second lap, the leading vets were closing in on them. Nothing like having the top pros in your sights to get the legs pumping. They, of course, were riding 40 kilometers shorter than the elites, and the vets were soon past the elites, and again on their own, some 2 minutes clear of the chasing bunch. Neil Tim, Johannes Jooste, Gert Fischer and Egon Campbell looking really strong as they swung left and headed back towards Boksburg. The tandems enjoyed the relatively flat route and were having some fun.
Lekker, baie mooi gereël. Lekker roete. Baie beamptes. Veilig, great. Baie dankie, great.
Wie wil dit verhoor?
Selfs alle probleme uit agter op die fiets.
Roelof and Corrine Meyer having a blast. Behind them, this couple ready to communicate with their Bluetooth devices. Pina and Denise Skuman. They were on a mission here.
Daai is jou ons wat been arresteer. Daai manne daar voor. Nou wat doen julle? Ja, ons kom maar. Ja, ons weer. Kom nie met wat sien.
It was heads down and all in the women's race. The injection of pace had strung out the bunch. It also led to a nasty fall. One of the best met ASG riders down on the tarmac. Not too much damage done, hopefully. And it split the group. The pace was high and Nicoline Nodier took up the pacemaking job on the front. Heidi Dalton was involved as well. And then Nodier was down on the tarmac as well. Great pain. It was hectic stuff. It was looking like turning into a battle between Bestmed ASG and the Activate Demicon squad. 9 riders remained in the front group. Much of the work being done on the front by the Activate Demicon team. Annelie Kachelhopper working tirelessly, as was teammate Mandy Human on her right. They were opening up a tidy gap to the second group, which numbered 7 riders. They would get things together because Lynette Berger was in that group. And the 9-rider-strong third group a further 90 seconds back. The leading quartet in the Vet 30-plus race still holding on to their advantage as they crossed over the N3. In the elites, the MTN Quebec feeder team were coming to the fore. They won the race a year ago through Metkel Air. Team Bonitas had a few aces up their sleeve, not only sprinter Herman Fischer, but also Harvey Kruger and JC Nell. Nell on the frontier with one of the Europcar youngsters from their development track squad, keeping an eye on him. The tandems were still churning out the kilometers as well. There'd been an injection of pace in the veterans chase group with the complete cyclist team, the Instigators. These are an amazingly strong set of riders, the majority of whom work a full day and have families and try and fit their training in the early hours of the morning, well before work, and then they race their hearts out over the weekend. It says much for the health of South African cycling. The size of this bunch is very impressive. And the quality of the riding as well. Ever competitive, they didn't want to let anyone go down the road for too long. The leading 4 riders in the 30-plus were going about their business in time-honored manner, each taking a turn on the front. Gert Fischer this time. back with the elites, and it was Team Europcar through James Fourie driving the pace. But his time on the front about to come to an end. The peloton were coming sweeping past. Team Ubuntu up front. David Maria, it was boiling up nicely. Everyone was paying attention now and keeping an eye on one another. Bonitas looking very organised. There are 3 riders at the business end of the race. Didn't want to get left behind now. Making sure everyone was there. MTN Kuberka through Gustav Passon and Oliver Stapleton Cotton trying to make it hard up front as well. JC Nell doing a mountain of work for Bonitas. Then MTN appeared to be the most aggressive team, but they were looking for help. Dennis van Niekerk of Bonitas now on the front. The leading group in the women's race still 8 strong. The dominant team being Activate Demicon holding all the aces with 3 riders. The chase group had 2 more Activate riders, but they weren't going to help in the chase just yet. In the second group, Desiree Subrits, Annette Loubser, Elmarie de Wet, Mandy Human, Victoria Myberg, Megan Brinkley and Kimberly Lacourt. 2 best med riders keen to bring the breakaway back. And the third group also working hard to bring it all together. Was it going to work? Activate Demicon keeping the pace high. Annelie Kachelhofer, the driving force. At this pace, no time to stop. Back with the vets. Pat Kotzer doing his fair share. Johannes Jooster, Egon Campbell and Neil Tim all still intact. Heads down, they wanted to make this one work. But the group behind were chasing hard. The tandems passed by an even bigger tandem. Morne van Niekerk for Team Ubuntu ahead of Oliver Stapleton Cotton and JC Nell at Bonitas. They'd attacked and were away. Perhaps it would come down to a dice between the 3. Not likely though, with so much firepower behind them. Bonitas team car, this is owner Malcolm Langer on hand to hand out some advice and encouragement to Nell. Stapleton Cotton in his first season of the World Cycling Centre team based in Potchefstroom. And van Niekerk, just 20, loving the life of a pro cyclist. Leading the charge behind him, Westphal Pro Cycling, whilst Team Bonitas had 3 riders who are not going to do too much by way of helping for now. Tyler Day, the senior man of the Westphal team. Kevin Patton had another Westphal man now with Nell. But not for too long. The breakaway had been caught.
Carnival City, Macsteel Cycle Challenge!
The Waterpoint staff energetic and ever helpful. They didn't have too many takers for now, though. The 4-man breakaway in the vets race starting to lose its impetus. They were just 50 seconds clear of the large chasing bunch of around 15 who had worked really hard to bring them back. The 8 riders in the women's lead group still intact as they flew past the Macsteel Waterpoint. No time for tea now. Activate Demicon again on the front, driving the pace. And the Kachelhofer was looking for some help. Bestmed ASG were there. With a colourful Carnival City on their right, the vets closing in on the finish. The breakaway had been caught. Now it was Jacques Greff, Richard Baxter, Neil Tim and Egon Campbell. A car took the wrong turn. The riders avoided it. Baxter took the win just ahead of Greff with Tim in third. Superb riding, 2 hours 57 minutes for the 125 kilometres. Richard Baxter, former pro, showing he's still got it. Jacques Greff keeping himself in the mix. Now it was the women closing in on the finish. Still Advantage Activate Demicon with 2 riders in the mix. Jacques Fuller took the 40-plus race. For the women, in the race to the line, they hit the final straight. It was 4 riders. Kachelhofer and Lynette Berger, Kirsten Schutt and Kim Lecourt. And it was the 18-year-old Mauritian Lecourt of the Best Mid ASG team who managed to outkick Berger and take the biggest win of her career. Superb riding. A real talent. 35-year-old Berger out of retirement after having a child as competitive as ever, and Kachelhofer reward for all her hard work in 3rd. Dalton was 5th.
I thought I was going to drop, but I just kept saying to myself that I have this, I can do it because I'm a good sprinter. That's my favorite thing. And so yeah, on the last kilometer, I was just really nicely placed behind Lynette Berger, which is she's a really strong sprinter, and I knew I had all my chances, and I just went for it.
And so to the elite men, Bradley Potgieter for Europcar, chasing the 2 men up the road, one of whom was JC Nell, the other Oliver Stapleton Cotton. Their teammates weren't about to help Potgieter though. It was all about timing now. Cotton looks left, so does Nell. Bang, away he goes. He chose his moment perfectly, pounced to power away from the M10 rider and take a significant and very impressive win. Triumph for Team Bonitas. JC Nell, a good job.
Like you said, it's quite a long race, 164 k's. It's much longer than what we used to racing. I think it actually brings out the depth in the riders a bit more. The racing really started at about 100 k's when the wind picked up, and my Bonitas team, they really did quite a good job. And then maybe with about 50 k's to go, I managed to get into a break, and then I managed to win the sprint between myself and Oliver Stapleton Cotton. And then I'm really happy to pull off the first win for Bonitas this year.
A top-class performance by the entire Bonitas team to deliver JC Nell to the finish. A fine ride by young Gustav Passon of the MTN WCC team to join his teammate Stapleton Cotton on the podium. Great celebrations for the men in red and white, their first win of the year. Meanwhile, out on the road, things not going quite as smoothly for the others.
No, not too bad. It's relatively flat, so no, it's not bad.
The wind?
A little bit crappy. But other than that, it was fun.
Be that as it may, the riders were loving the chance to get a much-needed pre-cycle tour race under the belt in great conditions. Organised by the Germiston Wheelers, the race was superbly run. Macsteel, a wonderful sponsor and supporter of road cycling in South Africa. So, how was it going?
It's all right. It's getting hot now, but we're happy with the way it's going, yes.
It's been fantastic.
Organisation?
Organisation, superb. Just a little bit windy.
Are you happy with your race?
Happy.
Hectic because of the wind, but fine.
Tired, Jonah, tired.
Can't do much about the wind. The race has been on the calendar for well over a quarter of a century, and Carnival City has been part of the event for almost half of those years.
This is our 15th year, even though the race has been going for 31 years, and we're very passionate because it does so much for the community and the sport of cycling race. And then we also donate quite a bit of money to charity, which is all for the local community. So why would we not be involved? It's beautiful to be in part of such a huge, successful event.
And this is the 16th year that we've been involved in the race, me personally. And we find it quite a good challenge, and we enjoy the work. It's a lot of work for a few months, but the rewards, like we can see with all the crowds, are well worth the effort.
The Germiston Rotary Club ensure the funds raised reach the right people. JC Nell stepping up to collect the winner's check. The men's top 3, Nell, Stapleton Cotton and Basson. And the top 3 in the women's race, Lecourt, Berger and Kachelhofer. A wonderful day out for all involved, and Macsteel laid it on thick once again.
Well, Macsteel, always nice to be involved in sponsorships. If we ever look at even at the cricket stadiums and the soccer stadiums, etc., for us this is a good cause. With the Rotary side, it's always phenomenal to be part and parcel of Rotary, and it goes for a good cause.
With the finish in sight, the middle and back of the field riders were energised as they surged forward. Or was it the presence of our cameras? or just months and months of great training coming through at the right time. Whatever it was, they were having a blast.
A little bit of cramps, but otherwise all right. Good so far, eh? Are you happy with your time? Very happy. Windy. And the organisation and stuff? No, it's always good. This part of the world, I've always enjoyed the races.
Some suffering, but that's because the guy put in a proper job. So kudos to them.
Windy halfway, but getting there now. And your time, are you happy with your time so far? Yeah, around about 3 hours is great. Now scenery is great. Will you come back next year?
And why not? The Carnival City Macsteel Classic is one not to miss. The Macsteel Carnival City Classic, proudly brought to you by Carnival City and Macsteel.